Read it again.
Everyone that is found shall be thrust through.
A sword is going inside of him.
That's
You
right.
know that? A sword, period.
And everyone that is joined unto them,
Everyone that is joined unto the, you want to hold hands on camera?
Blah, blah, yeah, blah, blah, yeah, blah, blah, yeah. I got the chain with the whip, blah, 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 blah. I'm just sticking to the script, yeah, blah, blah, yeah, 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 blah, 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 blah. Talking about, y'all not talking crazy. What you talking about?
He said, holy enemy, what's holy mean? Holy means separate. Read on.
for I, the Most High, am holy.
For I, the Most High, is separate. You so goddamn smart, you ain't got nothing to say now. What the hell does separate mean? What does separate mean? Well, listen now.
What you talking about? He from the south, you talking cheap like a Roman noodle. All you talk about is what about the white man? I think you like a Roman noodle. How you pro-black but love some white girls? Don't you know what they did to us? They gave us perms, made you hate yourself, made you pro-abortion, made you feminist. Nah, 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 boo-boo. Don't let these people fool you. Called out their bamboozle. Don't you know that you Hebrew? Kwam Yasharala, Kwam Yasharala. For these Edomites, I got a whip and chain with the collar. Raising us some prophets from the ghettos and the slums. Talking about they got the machetes, knives, and guns. Throwing bottles at the prophets, better think the outer one. If you throw something again, you gon' look like me pun. I tell you, you a god, you a king. That we deserve the gold in the earth and everything. But now you try to tell me that we really preaching hate. But where was all this love when our fathers getting raped? Rape the mothers and our daughters and our sisters. Stockholm syndrome at its best, you stuck within the system. Yeah, how is my power in the Father in the heavens? You got a Smith & Wesson, but we got 1611. Yeah, I ain't never scared, never scared, never scared, never scared, never scared, never scared. If I ever see Borgia, I'ma smack him. If I ever see white Jesus, I'ma clap him. If my brothers go to war, I'ma back them. If I ever see my brothers, I'ma dap them. Yeah, hit the sun and my bones get stronger. You hit the sun and your body get weak. All that sunscreen, you try to tell me I'm 3/5 a human being. What the hell are you talking about? I heard your people come from caves. Edom is a wild animal, and I heard your people won't be slaves. Yeah. How you gonna try to tell me I'm racist, man? How you tell me I'm racist, right? But you hung my people from trees, right? You hung my people from trees, you drug them from trucks, you cut babies out of the womb of the mothers, right? But I'm the one that's in the wrong, right?
Oh, King David. Let's get it. Frankincense, myrrh and frankincense, frankincense, myrrh and frankincense, shit, Said it was 40 days, 40 nights. We was fighting for our life. I could never sell my soul because I gave it all to Christ. Niggas saw Goliath and it was on sight. Hit the heathen with the rock, cause the heathen couldn't fight. Cut his head off and then he put it on the spike. All my Hebrew Israelites, we about to ride tonight. Bye bye kumbaya, send you to the afterlife. But you gotta walk by faith because you cannot walk by sight. I could turn water into wine. No pork on my fork, I could never chew the swine. And my body is a temple, got it looking like a shrine. You can keep your purple dollars, but you running out of time. Solomon, 110, gold teeth, when I grin, banging on Esau. This revenge of the twin. If you win, Yasharella, we ain't kin, we ain't friends. We ain't all that have breath, praise it, how amen. Amen.
Khan. It's King Kadash. It's King Kadash. It's King Kadash. Rockin' this melanin. What is you telling me? We are the gods. Y'all love is irrelevant. Kings of the earth. We had it since birth. Y'all took it away. Isaiah said y'all would pay. struggling, hustling, money wasn't doubling. Mama working, daddy gone, grandma died, now I'm alone. What's going on in my life? When I was 10, almost lost my life. No son, your purpose isn't finished. So I kept on pushing, and I kept on searching. Found the true God, God knows I was hurting. And demons kept lurking, but I kept on working. Now I know for certain who's the true God. It's that John 5:39, search the scripture. And Isaiah 45, it paints the perfect picture. Come out of them, my people, Jacob run the world. We the kings and the gods of the earth. You wasn't nothing. You heathens burn. The tables turn. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob. I be Moses, I be Aaron, I be Caleb. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob. I be Peter, I be Paul, I be Philip. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be Elijah, rain down fire. I be Elijah, ascend to a higher. Why do they try us, deny us, turn up the heat and fry us? Is it because they ain't us? Is it because they hate us? Is it because we call upon the name of the Messiah? I be like Yahushua. Father told me never lie. Father told me bear my cross. Now I know it's do or die. Father told me crucify my flesh so I can say a lie. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob. I be Moses, I be Aaron, I be Caleb. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob. I be Peter, I be Paul, I be Philip. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be like Christ, I ain't wasting time. I'm trying to shine bright like that star in the sky. He be my light, he be my law, he be my temple. I put burdens on instrumentals to bend you, mold you, show you the tree of life before you. I'm picking grapes from the vine, trying to be divine. But with all this sin in my life, I know I'm bound to die. I ain't wasting time, I'm trying to shine my light. I be like Christ. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob. I be Jacob. I be Moses, I be Aaron, I be Caleb. I be Caleb. I be like Christ, I be like Christ, like Christ. I be like Christ, I be like Christ, like Christ. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob. I be Jacob. I be Peter, I be Paul, I be Philip. I be Philip. I be like Christ, I be like Christ, like Christ. I be like Christ, I be like Christ, like Christ. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob. I be Moses, I be Aaron, I be Caleb. I be like Christ, I be like Christ.
Need a freelancer? Go to Fiverr.com and find one in seconds. Or don't go to Fiverr and waste your time searching for freelancers instead of finally taking that trip abroad. Constantinople? Should be near Prussia. Find your freelancer quickly and easily at Fiverr.com.
Come! But so much thou shalt. And one in Wakanya, the Jerusalem, stand face Jerusalem. And Mashiach Kalal, the Lord's pride. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemaya,
Kadash, Haya, Shumka, Yahweh, Malakwata, Tabaa, Razaka, Haya, Aishar, Baharatza, Kawa, Haya, Bashemaya, Lathanau, Lakom, Kol, Yawam, Wasalak now, Kabawat now, Kasalak now, Kabawat now, Wala'a, Dabayanaw, Banzaiwan, Abo, Hawashai, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wa'ala, Watai Parath, Ailam, Bahasham, Hamashiach, Yahushai, the water, Aman. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if ye forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Bahashem, Hamashiach Yahushai, the water, the Yad, Amen.
Amen. That's shot you. That's right. Shabbat Shalom Yeshua. Shamash Kawashan. Our praise the Most High about Shamash Kawashan is God for Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Bring us together again for another holy convocation, another Shabbat day. Israel come together. Who are we? The LOC, not of Zion. Located where? Broad Boulevard. 2937 Westbrook Road Boulevard. We're going to continue in the book of 1 Kings, chapter 12. What are the division of the kingdom of Israel? The two kingdoms. Because previously we know Israel was ruled by three kings. King Saul, King David, and King Solomon. After Solomon, then the king was divided into two. Right? Yeah. Colossians 3 verse 17, right?
Colossians 3 and 17.
I'm Bishop Lafallah. To my left is
Officer Aliyah. Shalom Yasharallah. Colossians chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the other one, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by him.
Right, whatever you do in word or deed, meaning what? Your actions, your thoughts, make sure they're consistent with scriptures. They're consistent with Moses' commandments and the teaching of the Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Alright? Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 12.
This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 12. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel.
As a matter of fact, go back to 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 42, because it flows. So we can get the flow from the previous chapter. 1 Kings chapter 11, verse
42.
Verse 41.
Come. 1 Kings 11:41. And the rest of the acts of Solomon and all that he did and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Solomon?
Right, because all the acts and the works of Solomon were documented. They were documented for our learning, right? Read on.
And the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years.
Yes, Solomon reigned for 40 years over all Israel. Just like David did. And just like Saul did. So we can say there were 3 kings who reigned over all Israel. Understand? And all those 3 kings reigned over all Israel for the same period of time. 40 years. Saul, David, and Solomon, David's son. 40 years. Read on.
43. And Solomon slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David his father. And Rehoboam his son reigned in his stead.
Right. Solomon slept with his father, meaning he died, and he was succeeded by Rehoboam, his son. But after Solomon died, he kind of gets tricky. Understand? The rulership kind of changed. The infrastructure of the rulership kind of changed. Even though Solomon's son reigned after him, he didn't rule over all the 12 tribes of Israel. We know. And all good. 1 Kings chapter 12.
1 Kings chapter 12. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king.
And Rehoboam, Solomon's son. Understand? Because all Israel expected that Solomon's son was going to rule over all Israel, like his father Solomon did. So Solomon, we Shechem. You know about again. I need a point of good. Shechem, right? See Shechem, right? That's right there. Right smack, Shechem, right? You need a pointer?
I'm going to show for it, maybe that right there.
This?
The shaker for your hand. This? Yeah, and turn it around. No?
I need something longer. Yeah.
Oh no, I got something for you. I got something perfect for you.
Come on. Yeah, Come on. Check them right there. You see where Rehoboam went. Understand? To be anointed and appointed king of all the 12 tribes of Israel. Because Rehoboam apparently didn't know what had transpired, what the prophet had told Solomon, that his kingdom was going to be divided after his death. So Rehoboam went to Shechem expecting to be the king of all Israel. Read on.
Verse 2. And it came to pass when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt.
And it came to pass when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it. Heard of what?
Solomon.
What did Jeroboam hear of? What did he hear of?
the death of Solomon.
No, not Solomon. Start from verse 1 again.
Verse 1. And Rehoboam went to Shechem,
Mm-hmm.
for all Israel were to come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass when Jeroboam
the reason why there was enmity between Solomon and Jeroboam. Understand? Because Solomon because the prophet had told Solomon that what? You're gonna lose your kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna be passed on to your son. Rehoboam just like that. But Jeroboam, from a valiant man in your kingdom, is gonna succeed.
Right.
He's gonna take over a large portion of the tribes. Solomon tried to kill him, so that he had to flee from Solomon and went to Egypt for refuge. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So now so Jeroboam, the Ephraimite, went to Egypt to hide from Solomon,
right,
because Solomon was trying to kill him, because Solomon heard that the prophet told Solomon that your kingdom is not going to pass on to your son just like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to split in two. So now start verse 1 again.
It's a lot. 1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 1. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were to come to Shechem to make him king.
All Israel, because all Israel wasn't privy to what the prophet had told Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't know. So they all went to Shechem expecting to anoint and appoint Rehoboam to be king over all Israel.
Mm-hmm.
But that was not to be, you know.
Verse 2. And it came to pass when Jeroboam,
the Ephraimite,
the son of Nebat,
whom Solomon had threatened to try to kill, because the Moses had told the prophet to tell Solomon that Jeroboam was going to be a ruler of a certain number of tribes of Israel. Read on.
When Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it.
He was in Egypt hiding from Solomon. Read on.
For he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt.
Right. Yeah, right. Because he fled from Solomon because Solomon was trying to kill him. Read on.
That they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying,
right. So when they heard that Rehoboam was appointed king, Rehoboam, Solomon's son, was appointed king, they said for Jeroboam, because Jeroboam was a famous man in Israel. You know what I'm saying? They knew of his reputation. So they said, yo, did you hear the news? Solomon died and his son Rehoboam now was going to be king. What's up? What's going on with you? What are you going to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't really imagine that, you know what I'm saying? So they sent for Rehoboam, for Jeroboam. Read on.
Verse 4. Thy father made our yoke grievous.
Verse 3 then.
Verse 3. That they sent and called him.
Jeroboam,
And Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam.
Right. So Jeroboam, the Ephraimite, and all of Israel came and speak to who? Rehoboam, Solomon's son. Pay attention. Their names so similar. Rehoboam, Jeroboam. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention. But Rehoboam was Solomon's son. Jeroboam was the Ephraimite. Mm-hmm. So Jeroboam and all Israel came to speak to Rehoboam, Solomon's son, saying what?
Saying, thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father, and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee.
Right. It's like paradox. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They said what? You know what I mean? Your father was hard on us. He chastised us. You have to pay a lot of taxes. You live, you know what I'm saying? You have to put in a lot of work. You require a lot from us. What about you, man? If you're a king, are you going to be the same as a father? Let's look at politics and all the negotiate. You know, the previous president want so much in taxes. What about you? Are you gonna reduce the taxes on us? Are you gonna give us more? You know, so it's like a negotiating going on. Read on.
Verse 5. And he said unto them, depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed.
So Rehoboam said, okay, all right, come back in 3 days' time. Think about it. I can go out in 3 days. Come back again and I'll give you an answer. That's what's going on. Read on.
And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men
Who are the old men? Read on.
that stood before Solomon, his father, while he yet lived, and said, how do ye advise that I may answer this people?
Right, because what is it? You got to have counsel. In the multitude of counsel, there's always safety. Understand? So Rehoboam consulted the elders who are his father's advisors. Understand? I said, what do you want me to do? What should I tell them? What do you think about this? You know?
And they spake unto him, saying, if thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and wilt serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servant forever.
Right, you know the scripture said a soft answer, turn away wrath. Book of Proverbs. Who got that? Somebody get to that. And I'm also getting that the scripture says that's 15 in 1. A multitude of counsel, you know.
Oh, Proverbs 11 and 4. Or something, Proverbs.
You got it right?
Proverbs 15 and 1.
15?
Is there another mic? Give it.
Not a cordless. This one is corded. It won't reach.
Is there a cordless mic around?
You can use camp voice.
Alright, we didn't count voice out. First, give me the one that said, your safety multitude counsel. Now read up.
Read what you got.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath.
Right, that's why the elders were telling Rehoboam how to respond to the congregation, to the people. Read verse 7 again. Read verse 7.
Slop. Verse 7. And they spake unto him, saying, if thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them.
Good words to them. Don't rough them up. Understand? Be eloquent. You know what I'm saying? Understanding. Empathize with them. Understand the situation, and relate to the people. Don't disregard them. Understand? Put yourself in their shoes. Then they will be thy servant forever. Is there more of that act?
Oh, come on.
I thought it was 11 and 4. 14.
You may finish off 15.
15 and 1 again, 11, 14.
Book of Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger.
Right, so roll that rock. See? Very important. So the elder advisors, who was his father's advisors, told him that so you should talk to the people. Understand? Empathize with them. Understand? Try to relate to them. Know where they're coming from. Understand? So you can be able to advise them and rule over them, and they will not be loyal to you. Now give me 11 and 14.
The book of Proverbs chapter 11, verse 14. Where no counsel is, the people fall.
We didn't know no counsel is. So whenever we have our situation, we always, because no one person knows everything. No one person knows everything. No one camp knows everything. No one church knows everything. That's why we have. That's why you have what? Eldership, that's why you have councils. You're going to have most of it tomorrow. That's why you have the unity camps. So you can learn from each other, relate to each other. You know what I'm saying? You find out good idea. So that's what you got from the most side. Really get right.
The book of Proverbs chapter 11 verse 14. Where no counsel is, the people fall.
Right. What's the purpose of counsel? To get a variety of ideas, so we can incorporate all different ideas into one to address a situation. Understand? That's what Rehoboam was doing. You got it on that one? 24:6. I got it.
I got it already.
Got it right? All right. Read what does it say?
Proverbs 24, verse 6. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety.
Right. By wise counsel thou shalt make thy wars. If you recall, every time Israel was about to go to war, every time Israel was considering going to war, what did they do? Consult with the Most High. The priest, the king, always consult with the priest, and the priest always inquired of the Most High. Should we go up? Should we not refrain from going up? What should we do most? And the Most High said, thou should go up. And the Most High would tell you specifically, this tribe should go up. Or the Most High said, you shall not go up. And we're going to see that further on in this chapter, or the next chapter. Finish, read again.
No, it just dropped it.
Dropped it?
No, I can get it again.
Proverbs
24. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 24 and verse 6. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war.
By wise counsel thou shalt make thy war. You can't just wage a war against the enemies, and you don't even know what the enemies are planning. You have to be strategic about it. You're a military man. You know what I'm talking about. You know, you can't just go in there with a nail and work on them like that. You know what I'm saying? Plus, as us being Hebrew Israelites, we always consult with the Most High. And the Most High will tell you, yea or nay. Read on.
Verse 6. No, 7. Wisdom is too high for a fool.
Yeah, wisdom is too high. Go back to Proverbs. Go 1 Kings 12.
1 Kings chapter 12 and 7. And they spake unto him, saying, if thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servant forever.
Right. You have to understand the people, relate to them, know where they're coming from, empathize with them, and they will be obedient to you and serve you. That's what the elders told Rehoboam to do. Read on.
Verse 8. But he forsook the counsel of the old men.
But he didn't want to hear that. Rehoboam said, forget that, man. I want to hear that. Read on.
Which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him.
So forget you old man. I don't like what you're saying, man. So what? He went to his boys, so to speak. His brethren, his friends. Boys he grew up with. You know what I'm saying? I don't like what you're talking about. Yeah, nah. I ain't feeling that. So he went to his boys, man. I guess he want some guessing or whatever. Some smooth saying. Yeah. Read on.
And he said unto them, what counsel give ye that we may answer this people, who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter.
So he asked him, what's your advice? What's your counsel to me? That I should give to these people who told us what? Lighten their burden. Make the yoke lighter. You know?
And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto this people.
This is what you tell them, Solomon. Rehoboam, brother. You know?
That spake unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins.
Wow. They would say, my little finger that thicker than your father's loins. So they had your burden up in you.
Wow.
Yeah, loins, right? We're growing people up in here. We're growing men up in here. We know what loin is, right? A loin of the men of Israel. But they say, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loin. So my burden shall be heavy upon them. Shall be heavy upon you than my father was upon you. That's the advice that the young men get to Rehoboam to tell the congregation. Read on.
Verse 11. And now, whereas my father did lade you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke.
Right, so what? You thought my father's yoke was heavy? You ain't seen nothing yet. I'm going to add to my father's yoke. You know? So if my father was taxing you $100, I'm going to increase it to 150. So to speak. You know?
My father have chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions.
You know?
So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the third day, as the king had appointed, saying, come to me again the third day.
So now, the Solomon weighed out the balances. He got advice from what? The elders who were advisors to his father, who told him to do what? To be lenient with the people. Lighten the burden. And I said, relate to the people, empathize with them, and they will serve you and be loyal to you. Solomon said, you know what? I need a second opinion. So he went to his parents, boys he grew up with, the same generation, and they gave him a total different advice. He said, no, I said, forget them. Let them know you're a king. You're a real boy. You're the man. That's what they told Rehoboam. They're talking about light burden. They didn't recognize you. So that's what So they came back to Rehoboam the third day. Now let's see what it's all about Rehoboam told them. Read on.
Verse 13. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him.
Wow. They roughed them up really bad. Read on.
And spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, my father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions.
Wow.
Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Most High.
Right, exactly. But what does the scripture say?
For the
by me king's rule. Who got that?
By me king's rule.
Or the order of the king's somewhere down the line. Book of Proverbs. Daniel also. Yeah. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Most High. It was the Most High who instilled those thought patterns in those young men to advise Rehoboam. And Rehoboam advised Rehoboam to adapt that kind of thinking. Right? Proverbs 8:15.
Okay. Book of Proverbs, chapter 8 and verse 15. Mm-hmm. By me kings reign.
See that? By me kings reign. Look at that. So all the kings reign by the Most High. Remember in Egypt, the Most High could lighten Pharaoh's heart, or harden Pharaoh's heart. That's right. The Most High can instill on certain thought patterns in anybody wants to get whatever decision or the Most High wants him to make. And that's exactly what happened right here in this case. We didn't get it out.
Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 15. By me kings reign.
By me kings reign. What does that mean? The Most High sets a protocol, not man. Man think they do. But it's the Most High instill in them a certain thought pattern to have them implement those policies. By me kings reign. So nobody, what does that mean? So right now, Edom is reigning. Why? Because the Most High wants him to reign as a punishment for disobedience to the Most High. You know? No more?
Kahaan. Proverbs 8 and 15. By me kings reign, and princes decree justice. By me princes rule, and nobles, even all the judges of the earth.
Right. By me kings reign, and princes decree justice. You know what I'm saying? All the nobles of the earth, all the judges of the earth. Who are judges? Some people are what? Administer the law. Read it.
Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 15. By me kings reign.
So kings reign by the Most High. Read on.
And princes decree justice.
And princes decree justice. They administer justice. They decide who's right or who's wrong. People in position of authority. Read on.
By me prince rule, and nobles, even all the judges of the earth.
By Most High prince rules, and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. Who are judges? People who administer the law of the Most High, or the law of the land, which the Most High given the authority to administer those laws of the land. That's all?
No, I'm just going to say, the Most High even have them building these nukes and all these different bombs and explosives just to go against each other.
Yeah, Most High what? Most of the man of war, right? So the Most High wanted to war against each other. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. We'll go back to 1 Kings 12.
Verse 1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 14. And spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people. For the cause was from the Most High, that he might perform his saying, which the Most High spake to Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat.
Right, it's a prophet the Most High spoke to. Ahijah, the Shilonite. He speaks to Solomon. So the Most High can have the division of the kingdom because of Solomon's disobedience. With Solomon, what? Wife of stepping all the women of the other nations who took him from the Most High and have Solomon worshiping the gods. Because of that, Solomon lost the kingdom. His kingdom should have gone to his son Rehoboam in entirety. But because of Solomon's disobedience, he was split in two and appointed to Rehoboam and Jeroboam the Ephraimite. Read on.
Verse 16. So when all Israel saw the king hearken not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David?
Right.
Read on.
Read on.
Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents.
So when Solomon told, when Rehoboam told the people that, they said, well, yeah, what's in this for us? What are you going to get from your kingdom? From your administration? What are we going to inherit from? We know Jesse. They mentioned Jesse. Because they knew of the lineage. Jesse, which is David's father. David, which is Solomon's father. And the people knew that, hey, back in the days, all Israel benefited from the rulership. You know what I'm saying? But they say, no, things are changing right now. So, what's in it for us? He said, forget you, Solomon, forget you, Rehoboam. Forget you. All Israel, go back to the tent, man. This guy ain't for us, but themselves. You know?
But as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them.
Right. So what about children of Israel, who reigned in the kingdom of Judah? Israel reigned over them. Okay, read on.
Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute.
Wow.
And all Israel stoned him with stones that he died.
Maybe he didn't get the memo or something. Maybe he thought people were joking or something. It wasn't serious. So after they told him that, he had the nerve to send down his tax collectors, so to speak. Read it again.
Verse 18. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute.
Poor guy, this guy was tribute, tax collector. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
And all Israel stoned him with stones.
On stone this guy, poor guy. Read on.
That he died. Therefore King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot, to flee to Jerusalem.
So I guess Rehoboam was there with his tax collector. He see him carrying and said, go get your money. Rehoboam said, go get your money out. And they stoned the poor guy when Rehoboam started stoning him, jumping his eye, carrying him. Get out of here, let's go. So, read on.
So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day.
Right. So at this point in time was like 933 BC. You know what I'm saying? That's when Solomon died. That's when the king was split and divided in two. This is when we can ratify this more or less. Whatever.
No, I was just gonna say when Nathan had spoke to David, he said that the sword would never depart from thy house.
Right.
Does that have anything to do with what was going on?
The sword, whenever they depart from coming, there's always going to be altercation, situations. I mean, it's not going to be a peace. It's always going to be a situation where somebody's going to be confronting you. I'm saying that this is exactly what's happening. Sword represents, of course, warfare. Right? You know?
Verse 20. And it came to pass when all Israel.
Because when you speak to him, when you ask a question, you know what I'm saying?
I'll send it.
Yeah. Alright, turn that mic. No, you should have one too. Sure.
You're good.
So because, so people, when I respond,
right,
people can know what I'm responding to.
Exactly.
When I give an answer, they can know what I'm going to give an answer to. Alright, so ask the question again so I can respond so the people understand what I'm responding to. To our people.
I was just saying in 1 Samuel chapter 12 and verse 10.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, read it. Somebody read that.
12 and 10.
1 Samuel chapter 12, verse 10. Read it.
12 and 2.
10.
The book of 1 Samuel chapter 12, verse 2. And now, behold, the king walketh before you.
12 and verse 10. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 10.
2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 10. Okay, this is what I said.
The book of 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 10. And now therefore the sword shall never depart from thy house, because thou hast despised me.
Start from above that so we can get the essence of it.
Verse 9.
So we can the context.
1 Samuel what?
2 Samuel.
Start verse 8.
Yeah, stop right here.
The book of 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 8. And I gave thee thy master's house, thy master's wives, into thy bosom.
Right, that's the Mosai talking to the prophet, to who? To Nathan. To David, right? You know.
And gave thee the house of Israel.
Okay, so let's go all the way back to David. Okay, go ahead on.
And of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the odd one, to do evil in his sight?
Right, so this is the prophet talking to David about what David did. When David committed adultery by lying with Bathsheba, who was Uriah's, the Hittite's wife. Right? So the prophet was admonishing David for his wicked act. On the most side, gave him this, wives and luxury and all that. And if you wanted more, the most of what was, I'll give you more. Read on.
Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with a sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now therefore, the sword shall never depart from thy house.
See that? The sword shall never depart from your house. That's the question we're asking. So the question is it talking about, is a house restricted to just literally David's house or his lineage? Read on.
Because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus saith the odd one, Behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of this son.
But I would say this, based on that, the context of that, it was really pertaining to David's own house, not his lineage. Because as a consequence of David's action, we saw what happened to David, like his son Absalom sleeping with David's concubine and all that, and the warfare and all that. So Solomon, the scripture, give me Ezekiel 18, with the father shall not
18, chapter 18, verse most likely 30.
You know what I'm saying? So Solomon,
no, 18 and 19.
The Solomon's transgression was his own. You know what I'm saying? David was chastised for his own iniquity. His son was not chastised because of David's iniquity. Solomon was not chastised because of what David did. Solomon was chastised because of what Solomon did. Understand? So when the Most High said the sword shall not depart from your house, we're talking to David specifically, and what would happen to David as a consequence of what he of his transgression. What do you got? Read it, yeah.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 18, verse 19. Yet say ye, why doeth not the son bear the iniquity of the father?
Right. Doesn't the son bear the iniquity of the father? Read on.
When the son have done that which is lawful and right.
Right. If the father did something wicked, and the son does something that's righteous, with the Most High, read on.
And have kept all my statutes,
kept all the commandments of the Most High, read on.
And have done them, he shall surely live. The soul that sinneth, it shall die.
The soul that sinneth, it shall die, unless the Most High grants you pardon or repentance, because you repent to the Most High and acknowledge your transgression. Understand? So if a father commits iniquity and didn't repent for his iniquity, the father is going to die in his own transgression. That will not reflect on the son. That's what the Most High said right there in the book of Ezekiel. Read on. Even though there was a generation later on, but the Most High never changes. Read on.
The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father.
The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father. Because so what Solomon was going through was not as a result of what David did. Solomon went through that because of what Solomon did. Read on. Read on.
Neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son.
Right. So if a father did something righteous, and you got a son that was stubborn and wicked and all that, that's not going to reflect up back onto the father. No. That son, who's of age, Understand? He's going to be responsible for his own action. It is not going to reflect on the Father. No more?
God. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him.
The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him. So if a righteous father is in righteousness, the Most High is going to protect him and guide him and bless him. Read on.
And the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him.
And if the son will be wicked, just like in the case of David and Absalom, understand? Absalom was David's son, right? Absalom went off. But that was the Most High anyway, because the Most High prophesied that, what we did in secret shall be revealed in public. But so what Absalom did was he had to bear his own transgression. Understand? That had nothing to do with David. David had to bear his own transgression.
Correct.
Right. We'll go back to 1 Kings.
Verse 1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 21. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah. Salah, verse 20. I'm at verse 20. Salah. And it came to pass, when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only.
Right, so all the Israelites, they appointed Jeroboam king of all Israel, except for Judah. Understand? So all the Israelites appointed Jeroboam king of Israel, except for Judahites. We're gonna see which other tribe was done with Judah. Read on. Read on. 21, right?
21. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin.
Right, so Benjamin was on Judah. Because Benjamin, Benjamin's right around there. Because it's kind of Lori, but Jerusalem's very close to the border, between the border of Benjamin and Judah. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes we don't want, where's Benjamin? Where's Judah? Where's Jerusalem? Is it in Benjamin or in Judah? You know what I'm saying? Very close. Yeah. So Benjamin was always running with Judah. You know?
He assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, and 104,000 chosen men, which were warriors to fight against the house of Israel.
So Judah and Benjamin, they got all the mighty men together, the warriors together, and say, you can't, but this ain't going down. We ain't going to look at that. We're going to fight all these tribes, the other 10 tribes. Read on.
Kahaan. Which were warriors.
It's always going to blur where Levi was at. Because, Levi didn't have any territory, so to speak. Levi was all over the place. Because that was a job to set up, station in different tribes. So because there was the job of the teaching tribes. All the other tribes had a set location, and their own land and all that. But Levi was all over the place. Even though they had different territories, different suburbs and all that, but for the most part, it was all over the place.
Which were warriors to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon. But the word of the Most High came to Shemaiah, the man of the Most High, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah.
Right, because Rehoboam said, Judah, Benjamin, let's go. The warriors together, we're going to fight against this man. I said, I'm the king of Israel, not Jeroboam. What the Most High say? Speak of, read verse
22. But the word of the Most High came to Shemaiah, the man of the Most High, saying,
the prophet of the Most High, saying what?
Speak unto Rehoboam,
Right.
the son of Solomon,
Right.
king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying,
Unto the remnant of the people. What does it mean? Verse 23 tells you, speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin. So, predominantly, it was all Judah and Benjamin, but it says also, and to the remnant of the people, right? Meaning what? What does remnant mean? Remaining. So there were other tribes there. You know what I'm saying? A few of them are from the other tribe. They didn't entirely go with Rehoboam, with Jeroboam. You know what I'm saying? There were some of them that say, you know what, I'm not feeling this. You know what I'm saying? All we know was King David. You know what I'm saying? So that's we're gonna roll to King David no matter what. That's the remnant that's talking about. You know?
Thus saith the Most High, ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They hearkened therefore to the word of the Most High, and returned to depart according to the word of the Most High.
Right. So the Most High told the prophet to tell Rehoboam, said, yo, I'm the one orchestrating this. Understand? Not them. This is coming from me. So disassemble your military and your mighty men and all that. Go back to your tents. I decided this, you know what I'm saying? By me, kings rule.
Mm-hmm.
So the Most High telling them, understand? It's not something that Jeroboam came up with. I put the spirit of them to do this. Understand? So go back to your tents, Judah. Go back to your tents, Benjamin, on the remnants of the other tribes. Because this is my doing. Read on.
Verse 25. Then Jeroboam built Shechem in Mount Ephraim.
This Shechem. Jeroboam, Shechem right there. Mount Ephraim. So right now, so this is another kingdom. When the kingdom was split in two, the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah. So the middle of Shechem, a major city in another kingdom, the kingdom of Israel. You know?
Then Jeroboam built Shechem and Mount Ephraim, and dwelt therein, and went out from thence, and built Penuel.
Penuel, what's Penuel? You know, the show Penuel, but probably somewhere up, obviously, up in another kingdom. You know?
And Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David.
So it's paranoid, because Jeroboam was kind of paranoid and said, yo, now shall the kingdom return unto David. You understand, the Most High gave another kingdom, so what? Now shall the kingdom return unto David. You know?
For this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of the Most High at Jerusalem.
Right. That was a commandment, right? You may want to, what is that, 6 and 16?
Yep, Deuteronomy 6 and 16, 3 times a year.
Yeah. There was a commandment of the Most High. So Jeroboam was concerned about that. That if 3 times a year people go back to Jerusalem for their sacrifice, you know, they're gonna rekindle their alliances and what? Then they're gonna put their loyalty back to what? To Judah. What's gonna happen? Then he's gonna go to the throne. That was his concern, you know.
Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 16. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Most High thy power, in the place which he shall choose.
Right.
In the feast of unleavened bread.
And the place in Jerusalem. I'll go back to our first Kings.
Okay. Verse 25. Then Jeroboam built Shechem and Mount Ephraim, and dwelt therein, and went out from thence and built Penuel, And Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David.
That was his concern. He was concerned that, these people one day is going to give the loyalty back to King David, the southern kingdom, kingdom of Judah. Read on.
If this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of the Most High at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people turn again unto their other one, even unto Rehoboam, the king of Judah. And they shall kill me, and go again to Rehoboam, king of Judah.
Right, so it's concerned about that. If these people continue to go to Jerusalem to do sacrifices, they're going to give their loyalty to Rehoboam, and what? They're going to go throw him, Jeroboam. You know, so this is what he had in mind.
Verse 28. Whereupon the king took counsel, and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them.
Whereupon the king took counsel, advice, you know.
And made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy powers, O Israel. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
Wow. This guy was acting like he was concerned about the people, the plight of the people. He wasn't concerned about them. He was concerned about his own. You know what I'm saying? His own prosperity. Wherefore the king took counsel and made 2 calves. Yo, I know. It's amazing, you know what I'm saying? You must have read about what Aaron did.
Right. And made 2, but 2. Aaron made 1.
Wherefore the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold. And said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. You really? You're concerned about them? Did they complain to you? No, they didn't complain to you. But they're going to pretend like you're going to do this on their behalf. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. But Israel is a simple, it's a feather.
It was 2 calves in them chariots, I guess.
Behold thy 2 calves, which brought thee up. Give me Deuteronomy 14.
Deuteronomy 14?
Deuteronomy 14 and 4, somewhere around there.
Come on.
The most I warned us about are these graven images. So I don't know how they fed for that.
Yes, I'm going to start at 3.
Alright.
Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 3. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing.
Right.
These are beasts which ye shall eat. Oh no, that's the dietary.
Hold on. And it's 4. And it's 4. Yeah, verse 4.
4 and what? 14?
4:15.
4 and 15.
Yeah.
Con. This is the book of Deuteronomy.
Some 4:14.
Con. Deuteronomy 4 and 14. And the Most High commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go over to possess it. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner of similitude on the...
So the Most says, warning all Israel to take heed to themselves, because what? They saw no manner of similitude. What does that mean? Similitude. Likeness.
Image, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Resemblance. You saw no manner of similitude. You didn't see anything like, look at me. You didn't know what it looked like. Read on.
For ye saw no manner of similitude on that day.
On that day, right. Because when the Most High brought you to Egypt, what did you see? Did you see an image? No, you did. You saw an image about something, about some kind of deity, a man, a woman, an animal, any kind of species. No, he didn't. So don't be carried away to think into conjuring up in your own imagination what I might look like. You don't know. You know?
That the Most High spake unto you in Horeb, out of the midst of the fire, lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth.
The likeness of any beast, what is beast? Calves. Because Jeroboam is trying to conjure up to this people. Read on.
The likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth.
Right, go back to 1 Kings. So I went there to show you that what Jeroboam was doing was way off. Because the Most High warned our people prior to this, that what? Don't imagine what it looked like. Don't coming up from in a likeness of any beast. Jeroboam coming up with disguise.
Come.
You see God brought over to Egypt. Really good.
1 Kings 12 and 28. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
See that? So you know this is way off because it's problem with people when they don't study to prove. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can just show something to you and you're unready because what? You weren't taking heed to what the Most High said previously. And what people wasn't taking heed to what the Most High told them previously, not to hold not to conjure up in their mind or construct any of these images in the sky, in the air, in the ground, on the earth, wherever. So the Jeroboam was able to fool up most of these Israelites by building these making these 2 golden calves. So you see God. And the Most High told him this day, you should imagine in kind of an image of anything. You know.
Verse 20, Salah, 29. And he set the one in Bethel and the other in
Bethel, it's Bethel right there. What's the other one?
And the other put in Dan.
Yeah.
And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before one, even unto Dan. And he made an house of high places, and made priests of the lowest of the people.
And he made priests of the lowest of the people. Read on.
Which were not of the sons of Levi.
Right. So Levi said, right there you lost the Levites too. So that's how we know that the southern kingdom consists predominantly Judah, JBL, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. That's right. Because what? He said, look at the Levites. The Levites, you know too much. You might know too much. You're gonna teach people too much righteousness. We don't want that. We want to be wicked. So they can say loyal to me, my wickedness. Forget the Levites. Go back to where you're coming from. So that's for the Levites. So they got people you know. Plus, what did it say?
Yeah.
Not to try to shade on our own people, but it says right there. Read it again.
Verse 31.
Yeah.
1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 31. And he made an house of high places, and made priests of the lowest of the people, which were not of the sons of Levi.
The lowest of the people, there was people on certain people on different qualification depending on what the situation required. Not everyone would be politically savvy. Not everyone would who are on the same level education-wise. Scripture says, what does it say? We're all equal. No, we're not all equal.
Yes.
We're not, there's no such, we're not all equal. Plus, Moses said what? Israel is above all nations on earth anyway. So we are, right away, we're superior to all nations. But also within Israel, we're not all equal. We have different skills. Which all skills collectively was for the benefit of all of the nations. We are all under we all at equal protection of the law.
Okay.
That's very important to understand. I understand that the distinction. We all had equal protection of. Give me James 2 or something. But the Most High didn't have respect of persons. The Most High did not have respect of persons. James 4:14, somewhere around there.
Not 4 and 14.
No respect of persons.
9. But if ye have no respect of persons, ye commit sin.
Oh, hold on a second. Okay.
Mostly all of 2 is talking about that. Respect the person.
Respect the person, James?
James 2. 2 and 3.
2 and 3?
It's if you have.
Oh, get out of there.
Gay clothing.
Yeah.
2, okay. James chapter 2 and verse 3. And ye have respect to him that weareth.
Hold on. Stop above that.
Above that? Want to start at 1?
Yeah.
All right. James chapter 2 and verse 1. My brethren, have not the faith of our the one, of Mashiach Yahushai, the other one of glory, with respect of persons.
Right. Have not the faith of the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushai, with respect of persons. What does that mean? Don't be partial. Don't be prejudiced. Don't give one preferential treatment over another. Because we all have equal protection of the law. Even though we have different skills, different responsibilities, different assignments.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You hear the priest talk about that all the time. What's your skill? What's your responsibility? You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure about that also. Even though we have different skills and responsibilities, we are all under equal protection of the law. That's how we're equal. Under equal protection of the law. Just because you're a mason, just because you're a carpenter, just because I'm an accountant, I'm not better than you as a fellow Israelite. No. I just have a different skill which we all require for the betterment of the nations as a whole. But we are all under the same protection of the law. I can't violate you, you can't violate me and get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
Verse 2. For if there come unto your assembly a man with a gold ring.
So if they come a man unto your assembly with a gold ring, mean what? Gold kind of symbolizes what? Well, status. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
In goodly apparel.
Goodly apparel, silk suit, linen suit, and all that. Fringes all over the place and all that. Read on.
And there come in also a poor man in vile raiment.
Ripped up clothes, I'm saying, read on.
And ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing,
right.
And say unto him, sit thou here in a good place.
Yeah. You know that they gave in some head back in the days. Yeah, we talk about the days. I said that's gay. You know them gays or the switch things around. Like they use a rainbow. You know what I'm saying? You know, rainbow and something back in the days. gate clothes mean what? Elegant clothes and elegant clothing. Yeah. So the man in goodly attire, I'm going to put it. In goodly attire. I'm going to sit over there in a leather chair. Wow.
Dust it off and everything
Yeah.
for you.
You know what I'm saying? I sit down the man around the ragged clothes and say, man, I see that broken wooden show over there, man. Now, the most I talk with that, not with that. You know what I'm saying, Leon?
And say unto him, sit thou here in a good place.
Right.
And say to the poor, stand thou there.
Wow.
Or sit here under my footstool.
You didn't get him on a seat. Sit him on a footstool. You know?
Are ye not then partial in yourselves?
Yeah, you're impartial. The most has done with that. And I say, you can't judge one person in Israel when I do that. Because what? Even though we have different responsibilities, different assignments, different roles, different skills, we are all under equal protection of the law. That's how we are equal. We are all, the law applies to every one of us equally. No one is above the Most High's law, regardless of your role. Understand? Because all roles we play are for what? The benefit of the nation as a whole. Fit it all together on what? Together on under the. We have bodies of the Mashiach Yahushua. Mashiach Yahushua is our head. Understand that we have the roles we play are like the bodies and like the embodiment that you put together as a body and then the Mashiach Yahushua. Finish that and we're going to get to our account.
Verse 4. Are ye not then partial in yourselves? And
you're partial, you're biased. Understand? And if you're biased, what does that mean? That you're ruling injustice against another man for whatever reason. Because what? You choose to put more emphasis on a man, put more value on one person over another. Based on what? His role or his status, so to speak. Read on.
And are become judges of evil thoughts.
And you become judges of evil thoughts. So when you do that, that's evil. Read on.
Hearken, my beloved brethren, have not the Most High chosen the poor of this world rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom, which he hath promised to them that love him? But ye have despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you and draw you before the judgment seat?
Right, because that's what was going on in that time. That was the time, the aftermath of the Roman rulership. You know what I'm saying? And that's what was going on. Plus with the Pharisees and all that, always giving preferential treatment to men of status and looking down on men who are, who are in the poverty line and the lower end of the totem pole, so to speak.
Carry on to this day.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's going on. Yeah, got it. That's all right. Yeah, what do you got?
1 Corinthians 12 and 4 to 6.
1 Corinthians 12 and 4.
God, 12. You said 4 through 6?
We get started. Well, it starts
4.
with 1, but straight to point 4.
Con. 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 4. Now there be diversities of gifts.
Right. Good scripture. Now, I was thinking about that. Right. Diversity of gifts. See, what does it mean? Diversity of gifts. Meaning what? Right away you can see what? We all have different skills. You're a mechanic. You're a carpenter. You're an accountant. You're a lawyer. We're the only ones, I guess we're the only ones, saying, other groups, they don't really do trouble like that. But we do. And we shouldn't. Because coming to each of we are different roles. The most I put the spirit in are different people. You know what I'm saying? ironsmith, carpenters, welders, and I'm saying all warriors. We all have to play different roles because the nation requires different skills to build. But in today's society, that's what roles people just, you make, that doesn't make no money, man. Come on, you ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? We stop on top again.
From 1 or you mean
No,
4? Okay. 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are diversities of gifts.
Diversity of gifts, because all these gifts come from the Most High. That's why they're gifts. It's not something that you acquire yourself. It's something that was given to you. Diversity in what? Diversity. It's a spectrum, on a spectrum. You know?
But the same Spirit.
But the same Spirit. The same Spirit, you know what? It all came from the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua, and you're all to play in the benefit of the nation. You're all in one accord. You know?
And there are differences of administration.
There are differences of administrations, different roles, man. There's one governing body. But that one governing body requires different roles to be played, understand, to accomplish a certain mission. Read.
But the same are the one.
But the same are the same Lord, the same Mashiach Yahushua, who's our head. Where there's a body is Mashiach Yahushua, and a body consists what? Different members. You have toes, you have knees, you have elbows, you have ribs. You know what I'm saying? Shoulder, you have the neck, and all that. But they're all part of their own body. Mm-hmm. And the head is the Mashiach Yahushua. You know?
And there are diversities of operations.
There are diversities, meaning differences of operation, different things that we're required to do. You know?
But it is the same power which worketh all in all.
But it is the same power that worketh all in all. The Mashiach Yahushua is administering all this. You know?
But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal.
But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. Read it again.
7.
Yeah, that verse right there.
1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 7. But the manifestation.
The manifestation means what? The execution. The execution of those different duties or roles or operations. Read on.
Of the Spirit is.
Of the Spirit, because it's the Spirit that's disseminating all that, or guiding the execution of those roles for what? To serve a particular purpose. Read on.
Is given to every man to profit withal.
Is given to every man to profit withal. Nation collectively to benefit from the individual operations, different roles that we play. You know,
For to one is given the spirit of the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit.
Right. So giving you different roles. All right, go back to somebody has something? You have something?
Romans 12 and 4. It's the same thing.
All right, we
got to understanding of it.
Let's wrap this up.
The water. We have 32. Verse 32. 1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 32. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month.
Wow.
On the
5th. Ordained a feast in the 8th month. Y'all, you have a feast coming up, right? Is that the 8th month? You have a feast coming up, right? Yeah. What month is it? What?
It's in the 7th.
What month is it? Get Leviticus 23.
I was just right there.
Leviticus 23. Let's see what month it is. Let's see how much the Jeroboam is off.
So I got it.
Read it out.
Leviticus 23 and verse 34. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of this 7th month.
The 15th day of this 7th month, September. That's what it's September. September. The 7th month. The 15th day of the 7th month. Read on.
Shall be the Feast of Tabernacles.
The Feast of Tabernacles. Read on.
For 7 days unto the Most High.
Go back to 1 Kings. So the Feast of Tabernacles was when? The 7th month and the 15th day. But let's see what date that Jeroboam chose out this feast on. Read on.
1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 32. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month.
On the 8th month. What does that mean? That means that he totally disregarded the feast that was held in the previous month. We ain't going nowhere, Jeroboam said. Nah, all feasts are next month. The 8th month. They said, I'm saying. This is, Jeroboam, are we going to Jerusalem? Are you got the chariots ready? So we're going to go right to Jerusalem. Said, what? No, we ain't going nowhere. Oh, he's right here. In Shechem. 8th month. What are you talking about?
So that means he was throwing his feast in the same time of November when everybody doing Thanksgiving and stuff. It's October when the tabernacle is.
The 7th month.
Yeah. I was just comparing it to now. If he was doing that, it would be the next.
Oh, we're not going to other nation doing it today. Yeah.
It's like trying to have Christmas in January.
Maybe they're fun of Jeroboam. Maybe they're fun of Jeroboam. That's what they're doing. Yeah, I'm saying. Verse 32 again. That's what Jeroboam was up to.
1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 32. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month.
The 8th month, man. Oh, Jeroboam said, we ain't going to Jerusalem. We're going to stay right here in Shechem and hold a feast next month. Read on.
On the 15th day of the month.
You got the day right. You got the day right. I said, for month, we was way off. Read on.
Like unto the feast that is in Judah. And he offered upon the altar. So did he in Bethel.
So it was Bethel. Shechem and Bethel.
Okay. Sacrificing unto the calves that he had made. And he placed in Bethel the priests of the high places which he had made.
Right, so he had this priest on Bethel, and was sacrificing unto those golden calves that he made and said, oh God. Oh.
So it said he was sacrificing. So since he established the priest of the low men, would that mean like he would be like the high priest of them?
I don't know.
You know, I guess suppose he would have established some, like someone, this is a high priest, but they would all report to him anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They would, yeah. He probably wouldn't call himself a priest, but he was king. You know what I'm saying? Just like the prophets would consult with David. They would consult him, but these men were not Levites. These men were lowly men who could easily manipulate. You know what I'm saying? They were taking the direction from him, which in the righteous kingdom is basically opposite. The priest would advise David what the Most High said. He would advise the king what the Most High said. But no, Jeroboam was telling them what he said. You know what I'm saying? What he wants done. What he wanted done. Read on
33. So he offered upon the altar which he had made in Bethel the 15th day of the 8th month, even in the month which he had devised of his own heart.
See, like, it's a month that he devised of his own heart. First he told the people that, no, you ain't going to Jerusalem. And these people said, where are we going? He said, next one.
And ordained a feast unto the children of Israel, and he offered upon the altar and burnt incense.
Right, so that's what he did. He devised his own, feast day, which was at the 8th month instead of the 7th month. And the people sacrificing to the golden calves he made. So We're gonna wrap it up right here. Finish one chapter. And most of them will continue. What you got to run about Shalamah Scout Child for logging in. Don't forget tomorrow the most I will at 12 noon we have 11 o'clock we have the shop the Hebrew class, and at 12 noon we have a continue we have the Shabbat service. Continuation of the Shabbat service. So to water everyone about Shalamah Scout Child. We're going to close the Shabbat service of today. So I'm going to have Shalamah Scout Child, Shalamah Scout Child. I'm having Wapanya, Yerushalayim, stand and face Jerusalem. Psalm 133. Shayar,
Hama'aiwa, Ladawad, Ana, Ma, Tawab, Wama, Ayam, Shabbat, Akim, Gum, Yakad, Kashaman, Atawad, Arash, Yarad, Azakwan, Zakwan, Aharan, Shairad, Ayah, Kadwatua, Koto, Karwanwan, Shairad, Ayah, Araya, Tazawan, Hayah, Shum, Kazawa, Yahweh, Arabakat, Kayawam, Ayalam, Bahashim, Hamashiach, Yahushua, the water, Aman. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Most High commanded the blessings of life, even forevermore. Bahashim Amashiach Yahushai, the water, the Myad,